The long-awaited second launch of Blue Origin's New Glenn rocket was supposed to be the turning point. The moment Jeff Bezos finally showed the world that his company could compete with SpaceX. The rocket was fully stacked, fueled, and seconds away from ignition. Then, everything fell apart. A storm rolled in, a mysterious system fault appeared, and to top it off, a cruise ship wandered right into the launch safety zone. This wasn't just bad luck. It was a perfect snapshot of why Blue Origin is struggling to earn credibility in an industry where precision is everything. SpaceX now launches so frequently that Falcon 9 flights barely make headlines anymore. Meanwhile, Blue Origin can't even get through one launch window without chaos. And the timing couldn't be worse. This mission wasn't just another test. NASA had trusted them to send 2 scientific probes toward Mars. After billions spent and nearly a decade of promises, New Glenn is still fighting just to get off the ground. And the real problem might not be the rocket itself, but what's happening behind the scenes. Welcome back to Space Update 24H, where we uncover the truth behind the world's most ambitious space missions. Let's dive right in. To understand why this latest scrub hit so hard, we have to rewind the story back to the beginning of Blue Origin's most ambitious project, New Glenn. Announced in 2016 with bold promises, Bezos claimed it would redefine reusable rockets and rival SpaceX's Falcon 9. The first launch was set for 2020, but as the years slipped by, the dream started to blur into delay after delay. The heart of the problem was the BE-4 engine, the very same engine that ULA also depends on for its Vulcan rocket. It became a symbol of everything wrong with Blue Origin's pace: endless redesigns, production stalls, and tests that fell short of expectations. By the time New Glenn finally rolled out for its debut in early 2025, it wasn't a moment of triumph. It was damage control. That first launch technically reached orbit, but it was far from a victory. The booster failed to land, and Blue Origin gave only vague explanations, saying little beyond an anomaly occurred. For a company that spent nearly a decade developing a reusable rocket, missing the very first landing felt like a warning sign. So when this second launch window opened, carrying 2 NASA Mars probes, expectations were sky high. This was Blue Origin's chance to prove New Glenn wasn't just a shiny marketing symbol. For once, the mission mattered, but instead of redemption, chaos unfolded. As the rocket stood tall at Launch Complex 36, 7 BE-4 engines and a BE-3U upper stage sat ready for ignition. The countdown rolled into its final minutes, until a sudden string of issues piled up, one after another. First, the weather. Cumulus clouds began forming directly above the flight path. Under standard launch criteria, those clouds are a serious threat. They can trigger electrical discharges during ascent, potentially mimicking lightning strikes on the rocket. The risk isn't theoretical. Rockets have been lost to such events before. Then came the second blow, a ground systems anomaly. Blue Origin didn't reveal details, only confirming that something in the pre-launch infrastructure failed a readiness check. Whether it was a valve, a sensor, or a communications fault, it was enough to freeze the countdown. And just when it seemed nothing else could go wrong, a cruise ship drifted into the restricted hazard zone, downrange. Every launch provider coordinates with maritime authorities to keep that area clear. Somehow, Blue Origin's range management failed to prevent a massive vessel from entering the safety perimeter during a NASA mission. It was the kind of oversight that instantly made headlines and raised eyebrows across the aerospace industry. As the clock ticked down, there was no time to recover. The window closed, the engine stayed silent, and New Glenn's second chance at redemption evaporated. Now, on the surface, you could chalk this up to bad luck, weather, system checks, maritime interference. Things happen, but for a company trying to prove it belongs in the same league as SpaceX, these aren't excuses, they're symptoms. Successful launch companies build redundancy and readiness into everything. They have backup systems, weather algorithms, and real-time range control that prevent exactly this kind of cascade failure. At SpaceX, launch scrubs happen too, but rarely do they come from a lack of preparation. In 2023, SpaceX flew 96 Falcon 9 missions, almost 2 per week. In 2024, that number jumped beyond 120, each launch a symphony of precision. Boosters landing, payloads deployed, schedules maintained. By 2025, Falcon 9 had flown more than 500 times since its debut, achieving a 99% success rate and over 95% booster recovery. Meanwhile, Blue Origin is struggling to reach its second launch. This is more than just a technical gap. It's a cultural gap. SpaceX operates like a battlefield lab, where engineers iterate fast, learn from failure, and fix issues in weeks. Blue Origin, on the other hand, moves like a corporate bureaucracy. Slower, more cautious, more polished in presentation than in performance. And it shows in the numbers. SpaceX's revenue for 2025 is projected around $15.5 billion, driven by both Falcon launches and Starlink, which alone contributes over $6 billion annually. Its valuation is nearing $400 billion, making it the most valuable private company in the world. Blue Origin? Still dependent on Jeff Bezos selling $1 billion of Amazon stock every year just to keep it afloat. Industry insiders estimate the company burns through over $2 billion annually, without a steady launch cadence to justify it. That kind of imbalance is unsustainable. Even the pricing tells the same story. A Falcon 9 launch costs about $62 to $70 million, but because SpaceX reuses its boosters, the effective cost per flight is dramatically lower, often under $20 million. Some boosters have flown more than 20 times, meaning every new mission is practically profit. New Glenn, by contrast, is estimated at $60 to $90 million per launch, about the same sticker price, but without reuse. The booster from Flight 1 failed to land, and now Flight 2 never even ignited. That means each mission burns through a brand new rocket every single time. And when you calculate cost per kilogram to orbit, the gap becomes embarrassing. Falcon 9 averages around $2,000 to $3,000 per kilogram, while New Glenn is expected to exceed $4,000 to $5,000, assuming it can even maintain a schedule. For context, even Falcon Heavy, a rocket that uses 27 engines firing simultaneously, launches more reliably than New Glenn. In theory, it should be more complex, harder to coordinate, more likely to fail, yet it flies flawlessly. Meanwhile, Blue Origin can't even synchronize 7 engines and a countdown timer. 625. But the issue runs deeper than just hardware. It's about momentum. SpaceX has turned launches into routine operations, so common that live streams draw fewer viewers now simply because everyone expects success. Reliability has become boring. Blue Origin, however, is still in the phase where every launch feels like a gamble. Every delay chips away at public confidence and investor patience. And with NASA now trusting them to handle science missions, those optics matter more than ever. This latest scrub should have been a wake-up call. Instead, it's become another meme in the ongoing narrative that Blue Origin is always one launch away from proving itself. The truth? They've been one launch away for nearly a decade, because in the modern space race, consistency isn't just an advantage, it's survival. And right now, Blue Origin is running out of chances to prove it belongs among the giants. At this point, Blue Origin stands at a crossroads of its own making. After nearly a decade of promises, billions in funding, and 2 high-stakes missions, New Glenn still hasn't proven it can deliver. The rocket looks powerful, the ambition is real, but results are what count in spaceflight. You either launch or you don't. This latest scrub wasn't just another canceled countdown. It exposed the cracks beneath Blue Origin's polished image. Weather and technical hiccups can happen to anyone, but a cruise ship drifting into a NASA mission's hazard zone? That's not bad luck. That's poor execution. And in an era where SpaceX is turning rocket launches into weekly events, Blue Origin can no longer afford excuses. But the story isn't over. If the company can finally turn its engineering potential into operational rhythm, if New Glenn can fly, land, and fly again, Blue Origin could still rewrite its reputation. The technology is there. What's missing is momentum, and maybe that's the real lesson here. In the modern space race, innovation means nothing without consistency. If you believe Blue Origin can still pull it off, or think they're running out of time? Share your thoughts below. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss the latest updates from Space Update 24 Hours, where we track every win, every failure, and every fight for the future of space. Thanks for watching. And as always, stay curious.